Hello, I'm VR Critic, and welcome to my Audioshield and Holodance reviews and comparison. In this video, I'll be giving each game a separate review, followed by a direct comparison of the two. If you'd like to skip to a specific section, annotations are available at the top. First up, we have Audioshield by developer Dylan Fitterer, who is well known for his creation of the Audiosurf games. Audioshield is currently available on Steam for $19.99 US or $21.99 Canadian. As of now, the game is among the top 100 best-selling games on Steam, and on the surface, it's easy to see why. Let's have a look at how much of this recognition it really deserves. Evolving from the concept of Audiosurf, the primary key to Audioshield is being able to play the game with any song you would like. When you load up the game, you'll be faced with the main menu and its first window showcasing a list of recently popular music among players. From here, you can navigate through the list by pointing at the top or bottom of the songs before you, or you can place your thumb on the top or bottom of the trackpad. Using the trigger to select, you can choose a song, navigate your personal files and folders on the left-hand side, or use the search bar at the top to look for music available from SoundCloud or on your hard drive. Before we choose a song, let's look at the available game settings to choose from. Selecting the cog at the very top right of the screen, you're given an adequate selection of options. The resolution and windowed options here aren't for the display in your HMD, but rather the mirror that's being rendered on your desktop. As for the graphics level and anti-aliasing, it's unclear if this affects the HMD graphics, the desktop graphics, or both. It's a simple selection of options, but very nice to have as not every VR game out there has these available. Upon selecting a song, it will start to play as a preview, which will continue playing even if you go back to the main menu. First, you select your difficulty. This is the first big hiccup in the game, as the difficulty modes are quite vague and even more confusing. On the left, you have a box showing easy, normal, hard, harder, or hardest. Which of these three difficulties are available depends on what song you're playing, and occasionally a song will show two of the same difficulty. On the right-hand side of the difficulty selection will be a consistent, easy, normal, and hard Shield VR levels. The order these appear in seem to be random, so you cannot simply select the topmost option and know that it's the easy mode. My theory is that the left-hand options show how challenging the game thinks the song will be for people, while the right hand shows the game's set, generated challenge level. After selecting a difficulty, you can choose from one of three shield types. The gladiator shields circle in front of your hands and curve round to the outer sides. The monarchs are simple, front-facing tall shields, and the Spartan shields sit parallel to your forearm. Lastly, you decide on the environment you'll play in. The Neon Stadium is a very simple environment, with not much to look at, while the VIP Lounge puts you on a futuristic stage in a massive environment that gives a strong sense of distance as a crowd jumps to the intensity of the music below you. These are the only two options right now, and I haven't found anything indicating if the developer plans to add more, which would be a much appreciated addition. After making all your selections, your song will load and you'll be placed in your chosen environment, with the orbs being shot out in the distance. As the orbs close in on you, you must block them with your respective colored shields. You'll occasionally or rarely see large purple orbs, which you block by either moving your two shields to intersect with one another, or by pulling the triggers on both the controllers. I prefer the trigger option for this, as it makes me feel more in control of when I want it to appear. There isn't any way to disable the purple shield appearing when your shields get close to each other, which can be distracting in intense moments. Controller haptics are very simple, providing a subtle vibration when you block an orb with your shield. Look down and you'll see where the game suggests you have your feet placed for optimal timing of orbs hitting your shields to the song. If you step out of the range where you should be standing, green lights will appear around you as a warning to realign your body. When you miss an orb, it will turn transparent and pass through you, leaving behind a path to show you which one you missed. Other than score, you aren't penalized for missing a note, the same way you would be in something like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. On harder difficulties, a larger quantity of orbs will attack you and approach from wider angles, challenging you to use your peripheral vision. The orbs will also cross paths more often with each other, requiring you to quickly cross your arms and focus more on the colors of the incoming orbs, rather than returning to a default mentality of block left-hand side orbs with the left shield and right-hand side orbs with the right. You can pause the song at any time with the menu button, where you can restart or quit the song you're currently playing. After you finish a song, you'll be provided with some statistics on your accuracy as well as a score made off of your accuracy. Additionally, you also are given a score generated from how hard you're punching the orbs as well as artistic expression. It then combines the two types of scores to give you a total score. I found this scoring system to be very unique, offering a very fun way to compete in leaderboards. Punch power is self-explanatory, and artistic expression is based on how much you're swinging your arms around or dancing, although it's only really useful if you're playing a song from online, You can see yourself on the global, regional, and friends-only leaderboards. Now, let's address the massive, depressing elephant in the room. Audioshield's orb generating algorithm needs some serious improvement. A majority of the time I'm playing, it feels like I'm hitting randomly attacking orbs while a song of mine happens to be playing in the background. The orbs seem to randomly pick and choose if they're being made to the beat of the song, the melody, or the vocals, or sometimes none. On top of this, the orb generation can be quite different each time you play a song. Even if you select the same exact mode and difficulty, only the placement of the orbs, the time at which they hit your shield, is the same. However, the colors and positions of the orbs seem to change randomly. Some people may see this as a positive, in that every time you play a song you can expect it to be a little bit different, which provides more unique instances of replayability. On the other side of the fence, this makes competing in the leaderboards feel kind of useless, as there isn't a set identical orb generation for every time you play, leaving your high scores up to punch power and artistic expression. This leads on to my next point, which is that the artistic expression scoring system also seems to be broken, as you can simply wave your arms around as wildly as possible to get a higher score, while also more than likely having less fun playing to the natural beat of the song. Even with these glaring problems, the game has still risen to be extremely popular and considered a must-have Vive title. The game is surprisingly immersive and keeps you extremely active while playing. Songs can get extremely physically intense as orbs approach from all directions, and during the moments where the orbs are being produced accurately in time with the song, I find myself feeling tingly with enjoyment and a general feeling of epicness. You'll easily find yourself wanting to play all of your favorite songs, sometimes repeatedly, just to perform better and miss less notes. You may even be left feeling tired out from all the physical exercise, but satisfied and addicted to the experience enough to continue playing. Now, if only the orb generating algorithm receives a massive improvement, you could always have your heart pumping with a much more consistent feeling of this excitement. Next up, we have Holodance by developer Narayana Games, who kindly provided me a review key based on a suggestion from Reddit. The game is currently in early access on Steam for $9.99 US or $10.99 Canadian, with the full release price planned to be $19.99 US. Due to the game still being in early access, many of the things I say here are subject to change. Now, in my opinion, the first issue with this game that I believe could be resulting in some people writing it off before even looking into it is the visual presentation and style of the game. If you watch the game's trailers at face value, it comes across as very childlike, with cartoony dragons as the game's mascots. This may have the gamer audience quickly clicking past the game if they don't do their research. When you experience the gameplay, you'll find, if anything, it's specifically tuned to the gamer audience. The main menu of the game has you standing in open space, with orbs representing individual instrument tracks of a song drifting around you. You can pull the trigger to fire an aiming beam, which you can aim at orbs with and pull them closer to you for better listening. You can then fire them into the distance by pulling the trigger again, or squeeze the grip buttons to have it slowly drift away. Let's jump right into the gameplay. You can select a level or song by aiming at its picture preview, then clicking it again to select it. You'll be dropped into that stage's environment, where you'll meet a large dragon. Some of the dragons lean in very close to you, making you instinctively step back with a feeling of presence. Currently when they speak, their mouths don't move, but I imagine this is something they plan to animate. The dragon will then fly back a distance from you and start firing orbs at you, which have light haptic feedback when you catch them with your orb absorbers. The orbs aren't color-coded, and you can hit any note with either of your hands or even your head. More on that later. Each level is accompanied with a song produced by the developers themselves, meaning they can design the orb timing and placements exactly the way they intend. The focus of the game is to catch the orbs with your hands, but you can get bonus points based on the velocity and angular velocity at the time of impact with the orbs. Orbs also show a preview of the best location to make impact with the orb, which scores you on how well you time your orb hits. Catching multiple orbs in a row will score you bonus points and earn you score multipliers, encouraging you to get long-lasting streaks. If you miss an orb, you hear a small penalty sound indicating the miss, and the music will temporarily cut out until you hit your next orb successfully. Missing an orb also causes your streak to end, and thus your multiplier lost. The orbs are generated in flowing patterns, which lead to the player making much more fluid movements with their arms as they move around. On some levels, the orb's point of origin can gradually move around based on where the dragon is flying, taking bigger advantage of your play space available instead of only front-facing. After you beat a stage's level, you can unlock more instrumental tracks by getting higher scores. Instrument tracks vary in difficulty and tune the focus of the song to your chosen specific instrument, such as hi-hat, bass line, melody, and more. After you've unlocked the higher level instrumental tracks, it's easy to forget which ones are the more challenging ones when you come back to play. I would like like to see some type of infograph to show what types of difficulty each instrumental track has, such as a rating for quantity of orbs, speed of the incoming orbs, and average amount of player movement or activity needed for the song. Some of the higher difficulty instrument tracks actually feel punishingly difficult, especially when the orbs become even smaller targets for you to hit. Some of these very small orbs are colored poorly, causing them to blend in with the background, which makes them very hard to see and even harder to judge their depth from you. I hope this has changed, as it feels unfair. Another thing I feel is too challenging are the placements of some notes and their timing locations. Some of the orbs are placed very high, making me have to reach out higher than I'm comfortable with since I'm short and don't have as long arms as some might. Another issue with some orb timing placements are the ones that appear behind your peripheral vision. If you want to know the timing of where you should be catching the orbs, you actually have to look around and sometimes step or lean back to catch them. But by that point, you've taken your focus away from the next set of incoming orbs and you might miss them. If you try to catch the orbs too far ahead or behind their timing locations, you'll miss them and be penalized. I hope orb timing locations are kept within your peripheral vision in future updates. Some stages have head orbs, orbs that are caught with none other than your face. Personally, I am not at all a fan of these. They add in an extra variable of player height, which seems like more trouble than it's really worth, especially if you're not the only user of your device. Furthermore, having the orbs come into your face is only distracting and causes you to continuously instinctively blink, and since they're always directed to hit your head anyways, they don't seem to have much challenge. The only challenge to them is their timing locations, which is often behind your straightened body head position, making you harshly lean back and play the game like Neo. As fun as being the true chosen one of the Matrix is, needless to say, it doesn't suit this game since you're not trying to dodge the orbs like bullets. The previously mentioned scoring mechanisms using velocity could use better explanation in a tutorial for players, as it's left for you to wonder what the gauge logos mean and what you have to do to activate them. There are challenges and achievements to play through stages only using one hand, or only using your head. While the use of your head here is much more justified than the notes intended only for your head, there's no way to activate a head-only mode, making it impossible to complete some stages with the head-only challenge, since many orbs come from too far away from each other, or sometimes simultaneously, and you simply can't move your head fast enough. I don't have two heads, and I certainly don't have two Vives. Throwing your head around rapidly also only makes the headset move around in your face, which is a bit uncomfortable. Each stage has very beautifully crafted environments, including being in the sky above mountain ranges, playing on the beach, or dancing underwater. Sometimes it's worth admiring the peaceful environments around you before selecting an instrument track for a song. The environments don't have too much draw distance or depth to them, as that might cause performance issues. The game also has a multiplayer mode, but I haven't tried this and won't review it since it's still in a very experimental stage and not very populated. As of this time, 3 stages are available, with only 2 of them being fully fleshed out with different instrumental tracks. If the preview posters are to be believed, the developers plan to have a total of 12 songs and stages available. The game's menus and settings definitely need some work. You can't currently pause or exit a song or stage midway through it, making you actually restart the game if you wish to do so. On top of this, all the graphics options and the game options can only be viewed on the desktop, which absolutely needs to be integrated properly into the game. Available on the settings menu, you have a streamer mode that you can choose, which will render a window on the desktop to record or stream. Instead of being a direct mirror of the player's view, it renders at a higher field of vision and uses head smoothing so that it's a more pleasant experience for viewers. However, the streaming option is fairly performance heavy at this time, so it may not be best for you. The graphics options are quite vague, only offering a drop-down menu which lets you choose from 3 presets optimized for specific graphics cards. I hope to see a more in-depth graphics settings menu in the future, so that I can choose my own particle settings, anti-aliasing, texture quality, etc. on my own accord. Another selection made available are Gamer and Zen modes. The Gamer mode is the default setting, while the Zen mode removes the scoring HUD from stages. It would also be nice to have an option to toggle the appearance of dragons in your stages or not. To wrap up, Holodance has the potential to appeal to 2 audiences, the gamer audience for its scoring system and the family audience for its visual presentation. While these 2 games look similar on the surface, they really couldn't be further away from each other. Holodance feels much more refined and in-depth, with its preset generation of orbs for each song's different instrumental track, making you always feel in time with the music and thus increasing immersion. The different tracks and challenges offer a very good sense of replayability, with a much more defined scoring system for a far better competitive ecosystem. If you're looking for fleshed out competitive play, or feeling more in tune with the music, Holodance has a very clear advantage. The two games use different types of physical activity. Unless you're playing a slow song, Audioshield gets your heart racing by having you quickly lunge your arms around to shield yourself from incoming orbs, and the general feeling of slight chaos can get you feeling excited and intense. Holodance can have you move around quickly too, however in more fluid motions that make you feel like you're dancing, which is the intention of the game. Audioshield's ability to play any song of your choosing is a very tempting feature, and quite hard to pass up. This offers you the widest range of replayability, as you can play a limitless supply of songs that you know and enjoy. Hell, if you really wanted, you could play Audioshield to your favorite podcast. On the other hand, you'll have to be okay with Holodance's music, which is more synthetic based, if you want to enjoy it to its max potential. Audioshield is easy to learn and fairly simple to master, as it is fully reliant on your quick reflexes. When you want to easily drop in and drop out for some fun, Audioshield's simplicity makes this quick and easy to do. On the other hand, Holodance is easy to learn but hard to master, as you would expect from a more competitive game. It challenges your accuracy and foresight to read the incoming flow of orbs to best move your body to. With the cost of the two games expected to be the same, it's impossible to tell you if you should pick one or the other, as they're both so different from each other. If Audioshield improves its algorithm, it will be a hands down must buy for VR. For Holodance, if you're comfortable with the early access system and you're willing to put your trust in it, I would say that it's worth the investment for its future promise, as long as you're okay with the currently limited and changing content available. The devs at Narayana Games seem to be active for their community and open to suggestions for how their game is going to be shaped throughout its development. This was a bit of a longer one, so I thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to critique my critique in the comments or on Reddit, as I do appreciate all feedback. If you have a game you'd like me to look at, feel free to make a suggestion, and subscribe to see it and more like this.